Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Ultimate Comics Podcast. My name is Nabeel and I'm one of your hosts.
I'm Josh, the other host.
And this is the podcast where we talk about Ultimate Marvel, an imprint of Marvel Comics that began in the year 2000 that was meant to reimagine and modernize Marvel and its characters and bring them forward into the 21st century. Every episode, we talk about a series of issues from the original Ultimate Marvel universe, such as Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimate Fantastic Four, Ultimate X-Men. You get the idea. We kind of talk about what happens in these comics, what we like about it, what we don't like so much, what stands the test of time, what doesn't hold up so much, and just generally how these comics have influenced Marvel in comics and other media, like movies,
Yeah.
TV, video games, things of that nature. And this episode, we are talking about Ultimate X-Men once again, and these are going to be issues 72 through 74, plus annual number 2. So
Yeah.
pretty big one, continuing the Robert Kirkman run of Ultimate X-Men. Josh, what do you think of these issues?
You know what? They're okay. They had fun. This didn't really change the scope of what happened in Ultimate Comics or Ultimate X-Men too much. I
No.
will say this. I am happy. I was correct. Josh was right.
Yes, these issues delve into Elliot Boggs, aka the Magician, the recent addition to Ultimate X-Men, a fully original character to the Ultimate Universe, by the way, did not exist in the mainline Marvel comics. And I think this series of issues that focuses on Elliot kind of confirms Josh's suspicions about the character being a little too good to be true.
Yeah.
And Josh is making a very satisfied. I feel like you've been doing like a Robert De Niro face for the past couple of minutes and doing these like very Italian American hand gestures.
Well, I have been doing the Robert De Niro face. It's a very easy, satisfied look face.
Yeah.
This is from Veep. If you
Oh,
like,
okay.
yeah. Whenever
I
she
still need to
points,
watch it.
it is a classic. Patton Oswalt's in it. Julia Louis Dreyfus is in it. She's in that Sheep movie and another famous comedy show.
You mean Seinfeld?
Yeah, well, I've never watched it, so
You mean like her breakout role in Seinfeld
yeah.
as Elaine? What do you mean? Maybe her most famous role?
What about Bugs? She was in Bugs Life.
I had no idea she was in Bugs
Yeah,
Life.
no, everyone kind of forgot about her in that movie. It's funny because that movie is not a forgotten movie. She just is forgotten in it, even though she's the main character.
Well, yeah, because it's like your voice acting, you don't often get associated with, unless you're like known specifically for that voice acting role and you were iconic in it and that was your role.
Yeah.
Most of the time, if it's a celebrity doing a voice acting role in a movie, people aren't going to immediately recognize them, is
Yeah.
the thing. That's just my take.
Generally, when we talk about non-comic media, we love to reference if there's like a comic character in that media. And in Veep, there is Patton Oswalt, and I don't know if anyone else was in any comic media, which is a shame.
Yeah, I mean, Julia Louis Dreyfus is now in the MCU, so
Oh my gosh, I forgot about it. She's
as of the past few years, yep.
Valentina.
Valentina,
Yeah, she gets
aka Val.
impeached. Yeah, she got impeached.
Yeah. And she forms the new Avengers, incidentally.
And they do the big potato stuff, apparently.
Yeah, so listen to our Thunderbolts review / our Spider-Man Brand New Day review if you haven't listened to those already.
Oh, yeah. Kind of find it funny because the new Avengers, Spider-Man could actually beat them all in a fight, honestly, at this point.
Oh, yeah. They are mostly small potatoes, except Sentry,
Yeah.
of course.
It was not even, it was just like kind of like their mascot. And by the way, this issue is very similar to like kind of how Sentry's handled in the movie, in that like, the spoilers, like, there's no real way to beat this guy because he's just so overpowered compared to this pretty low stakes team.
Yes. Yeah, this delves a lot into the Magician, and he's kind of OP as a character. Like, this guy is kind of a big deal. And so the real conundrum is he friend? Is he foe? Should the team take care of them? And if they should, how do they do that? So I think we should just dive right into it. On that note, Josh.
Yeah. We open up with Syndicate, who, by the way, if you guys remember, because I almost forgot, he's a guy with, he's actually not a guy, he's actually two guys with two faces who robbed the Bank of Westchester.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Professor X stopped the robbery and helped fake Syndicate's death so that Syndicate could help Professor X against the Hellfire Club.
Yeah.
Be Professor X's people on the inside to kind of infiltrate and stop the Hellfire Club from freezing Professor X's assets.
He also was just kind of doing like Professor X's dirty work just because he could be under the radar, I believe, as well.
Yes, I guess we can call them they because, it's two
Oh yeah,
guys,
true.
but two heads on one body.
They're kind of aggressive, but Professor X did say like, "I'll help your sister," and there's a little twist in that like the FBI or the IRS investigate like, "Hey, why did this one mutant sister just get a whole bunch of money when she has cancer or something?"
Yeah, so Professor X is on the phone with Syndicate at the beginning of this issue, trying to reassure them that, yeah, I'm going to help your sister. I'm going to make sure that we're going to clear up any financial questions or federal investigations into how your sister is getting this medical treatment. But yeah, Professor X is really just thanking Syndicate for helping him take care of the Hellfire Club and protecting his assets. And then next thing you know, Xavier gets another call, and this is from Kitty's mom, Kitty Pryde's mom, who is worried because Kitty is dating this mysterious new boy that she's not sure about and spending a lot of time with him. And for those of you who have listened to our Ultimate Spider-Man episodes, you'll know who it is.
It's Peter Parker.
Yeah, that kid who takes pictures of Spider-Man.
I really like the fact that for once, Professor's like, "Oh, thank goodness, it's not one of my guys. It's a nice kid from out of town, if you know what I mean."
Yeah, he's from Queens.
He's from Queens.
Yeah, so Xavier's like, don't worry about him. He's a good kid. Like, I can assure you that everything's fine.
Of course, he's a good kid. He's from Queens.
Yeah, all good people come from Queens.
Except for the president, maybe.
Yeah, there are some exceptions to that rule.
Yeah, I will say this is like a weird B plot that kind of becomes semi-important, is that Kitty's relationship with Peter. It's brought up more in this issue that she's dating Spider-Man than it is in other Ultimate X-Men issues, where it's like kind of a throwaway line. Here it actually becomes like every issue they bring it up.
Yeah, because it's hard to ignore because she's in Ultimate Spider-Man all the time.
Because Bendis wants to have fun with Kitty, wants to write Kitty stories, really.
Yeah, she's a full-on supporting character in Spider-Man's cast in this book, so it's kind of hard to ignore when she's in Ultimate X-Men, like, hey, you're dating Spider-Man, the most popular Marvel hero of all time. No biggie.
I also don't know why she didn't just tell her mom, "I'm dating Peter Parker," because, like, Peter Parker is, like, objectively a good kid that, like, most moms wouldn't mind.
Clean as a whistle, he works for the Daily Bugle. He's a science nerd, takes good care of his aunt. He's a good guy.
He's a good kid from Queens.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then Kitty's mom is also like, okay, that makes me feel so much better. Can I speak to Kitty? Professor X is like, oh, sorry, she's actually doing like kind of a training exercise, but don't worry, it's nothing dangerous. And literally the next thing you see is a double-page spread of the X-Men fighting the Friends of Humanity, like a known mutant hate group from the comics and the cartoons and everything.
We kind of forget that Kitty's mom said, like, hey, Kitty could do training, just don't go into actual combat.
Yeah, and she's going straight into combat, and not for the first time.
Yeah. The Friends of Humanity, this is just like a regular hospital with no mutants in it. They just found out the hospital will accept mutant patients, so they just want to blow it up.
Yeah, and even the X-Men are like, guys, what are you doing? You know how many humans you're putting at risk here attacking a hospital just because it has mutant patients? And hey, that's just all too real when it comes to real life hate groups. They don't really understand, like, they're kind of defeating their own purpose here.
Yeah. They will just attack their own side just for being open about certain things.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you're really just gonna cut off your nose to spite your face?
Yeah. It also, it's a little different. It reminds me when, during COVID first happened, my friend from Estonia told me racist neo-Nazi groups were going up, beating up, like, Indonesian and Middle Eastern migrant workers, saying, like, they're spreading COVID. And I'm like, well, if you beat them up and they do have COVID, you're getting COVID.
Yeah. You're really just screwing yourself over.
Yeah. There's a weird gross undershot of Rogue, which is, like, I'm pretty sure she's still, like, 16, 17 here, so...
Yeah, it's a little too horny considering these are teenagers. I agree with you there.
Thank you.
And yeah, the X-Men are generally just kicking ass, protecting this hospital. There's an interesting point where Iceman gets shot in the shoulder, but his powers actually protect him and he's fine. I'm like, okay, I was not familiar with your game, Bobby, but way to go.
He has armor.
Yeah, he's kind of like a secret powerhouse where he's kind of fine no matter what happens.
Yeah. Wolverine's like, I can't believe I missed the last one. And I'm like, yeah, that's because you're fighting the Hulk. But...
Yeah, Wolverine's like getting caught up in everything that's happened, and he's like, I can't believe like all the stuff I missed when I was gone fighting the Hulk. And he even's like, yeah, and you're dating that nerd Spider-Man or that loser. And Kitty's like, hey, he's a good guy. Chill out.
Wolverine has actually met Spider-Man, like most of these guys who just have like
Yeah.
one encounter.
Like, hey, he's helped you on several occasions. You should be friends.
Oh, we all know what Wolverine's thinking because he was in Peter's body.
Yeah. Disgusting.
Yeah,
Disgusting. I hate that body swap arc.
I think people usually like that body swap art.
It's fun, except Wolverine is just such a creep and a borderline pedophile in those issues.
Oh,
So
he is a pedophile.
yeah, he tries to go for MJ, a teenager. Anyways, listen to our episode on those issues if you want. But it's really funny too because he's also like, yeah, we were abducted by the Marauders, and Wolverine's like, yeah, I'm glad I missed that embarrassment when like Deadpool abducted them and took them to his island for that reality show. And I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah, that explains where he was during that. He was fighting the Hulk.
the leader of the Friends of Humanity is revealed to be a mutant. I think his mutant genes just activated because he freaks out and goes like, "You guys spread your disease to me."
Yeah, that's the story he'd like to tell. But the leader of the Friends of Humanity, yeah, just hulks out and just grows to an enormous size. And they point out how ridiculous this is. Iceman's like, you are a self hating mutant. And hey, yeah, it's unfortunately all too real in life. If you're a self hating part of a certain group, you're gay and you don't want to admit it, so you hate all these gay people, or like you bash your own nationality or ethnic group because you're like, I'm not like them, I'm one of the good ones.
Oh yeah, like kind of reminds me how every time we have like a certain conservative group at a city, Grinder crashes.
Yeah. Like, huh, I wonder. They're like, oh, fuck, I just hate how hot these other men are. Oh, god damn it. It makes me so mad. I'm just gonna jack off to pictures of these men. Anyways.
My manly urges.
So yeah, then the fight cuts away and we cut to the hospital where Dazzler is still in a coma and Nightcrawler is still creepily watching over her.
Yeah.
And why? We're going to get more into this later in this episode, but yeah, he's watching her, just staring at her, and she wakes up from the coma and she's like, what happened? And we'll get back to this, but just keep it in the back of your minds. This is going to be something.
Well, I don't like the way they did. They did like my boy Kurt dirty, you know?
Oh yeah. And that's going to be covered in the annual that we cover later in this episode, and we're going to get deep into that.
That is not Pope behavior, man.
No, sir.
Do you remember that arc in 616 where Nightcrawler briefly became the Pope?
You're constantly bringing this up. I can't forget it.
Arc. It's a great. We all want Pope Kurt Vonnegut or Kurt.
Kurt Vonnegut.
I don't know what his Pope name's gonna be.
Kurt Wagner. He didn't write Slaughterhouse 5.
Okay, well, everyone gets his new Pope name when you become Pope. That's the point of becoming Pope.
Yeah, so he's like, I'll just take the name of that famous author. That way everyone will think I, Kurt Vonnegut, wrote Slaughterhouse 5.
Yeah.
Then we cut to Xavier checking on Jean, who is in the infirmary after the end of the last arc when she went full Phoenix. And as far as they know, she's not really the Phoenix that Lilandra and the Church of the Shi'ar Enlightenment prophesies, but we kind of know that she is as the audience. Yeah. But Xavier's checking on her, and she's like, can you just let me go? I want to get out of my room. And Xavier's like, no, this is for your own good. This is for your protection. And Josh is like, good. She is a threat.
She is a threat. We've seen Spider-Man. We know what happens in 616. She's going to destroy planets.
Man, you just don't like Jean Grey is what I'm hearing.
Neither do you.
I'm indifferent to Jean Grey. I'll tell you that. I'm ambivalent to Jean as a character.
Look, if Jean trips really hard one day and doesn't wake up, would we be mad?
You mean like on the original 90s show? When she would like trip on a wire and go like, oh.
I love the meme of it's sad because she has such a great voice actress who's so good at voicing like other female warriors, and just hearing her go, oh. Every episode of X-Men 97, even as a kid, I knew something was up.
They make her like make like an orgasm noise and then like
I was not something. Thinking of it. I was thinking of like a
well, everyone like else was.
Really? Is there a meme about that? Because I want to check out. Oh
yeah. Oh yeah, for research purpose.
For research, because I always assumed it was more of like a moaning, like a working out, or you trip really. I don't know. As a kid, I felt like she's overdoing it. It can't hurt that much.
Well, watch X-Men 97 because they actually do her justice.
Yeah. What's Omega? More like Omega mutant my ass. Yeah.
But yeah, Jean's upset and she's like, just go. And then you see that she's still surrounded by like these psychic goblins from the last story arc that she ended with. So she like talks to them, I
Like they're
guess.
her friends.
Yeah, it's an interesting take. I don't think we've seen Jean hallucinating goblins before, but here we are.
Yeah, the evil mutant that like most mutants are, takes out the X-Men pretty easily. He actually breaks Colossus's arm, which
All right, why are you just glossing over the fact that you just said most mutants are evil?
look. I think like we're focusing too much on this little small part of the script.
Are you rooting for the Friends of Humanity?
Of course not. My point is he does break Colossus's arm, which is pretty impressive. Like, because Colossus is a
You know
tough
he's
guy.
a mutant too,
Uh huh.
this leader
He
of the
can't.
Friends of Humanity, so.
Yeah.
Well, this giant mutant takes down most of the team, but then, yeah, like you said, the magician just stomps him easily. And it's so funny because Kitty is like, this dude is totally sweet talking about magician. And I'm like, man, okay, you're dating Spider Man. Why are you
Well,
like,
she's a horn cat, and
yeah,
it's the destiny of Peter for his significant other to leave him once they find someone bigger than him.
man, you're just constantly on that, like, Peter Parker has to be cucked kind of.
Yeah.
You're always on that train.
Yeah, it makes him relatable.
I disagree, but okay. But we'll find out why she's so into magician later. Wink, wink. But Professor X in the mansion checks on Kurt, Nightcrawler, who he sees passing him by, and he's like, "What's going on? Are you all right?" And Nightcrawler is like, "No, I'm fine." He's like, "No, don't worry about it. It's personal. It's private." And he leaves. And Professor X is like, "That's weird."
It doesn't make sense because I expect Professor X to read his mind because it's not even like Professor X has like qualms about it in the past. He just reads.
He picks and chooses when he's like, I'm never going to cross that line. So right now, I'm sure he's like, oh, I wouldn't violate his privacy. But I feel like if he got pushed a little more, he'd be like, well, maybe just a peek.
But he also just reads minds all the time in the first few issues of
Yeah,
this series.
but
So
different writer, different take, I guess.
yeah.
But then Nick Fury also shows up, and Xavier's like, what's going on? And Nick Fury's like, your new guy, the magician. I want him on the Ultimates. And Xavier's like, are you kidding me with this?
You already borrow Wolverine every other night.
Yeah, like you already think Wolverine's one of the Ultimates. You're taking him on your missions to kill dangerous mutants or fight the Hulk. Like, you can't just come in here and just steal some of my X-Men. And he's like, also, didn't you bring Elliot here in the first place? And Nick Fury's like, what are you talking about? And he even like talks about, yeah, Elliot's parents gave the go ahead for me to take him. And Xavier's like, wait, his parents are alive? Because when he was introduced, it was shown that Elliot Boggs, the magician, killed his parents when his powers manifested. So we're like, what? What's going on? And Fury's like, yeah, and I have no memory of bringing him to your school in the first place. And the final page is so funny because it's just like one splash page of Xavier's face, and he's like, something is very wrong here.
Yeah. Just as I predicted.
Yeah, pat yourself on the back, Josh.
Josh was right. I
Yeah.
also did like the thing where Nick Fury's like, "Do you think like he erased your memory?" And Nick Fury goes, "No, I had paperwork about it. Every time I take a shit, they record it." And I'm like, "That's some king behavior because that's what happens with
Yeah.
kings."
That's what happens when you are the world's top cop, when you are like the spy of the planet, the super spy. You got to make sure everything's recorded, everything's monitored. That's always a failsafe,
Yeah,
even if your memories are erased.
it's also a thing with like the Soviet Union, Mao, with like actual kings. Is like every single time they take a poop, someone recorded it.
King behavior.
Yeah, it's king level, Nick,
Or dictator level.
or dictator level, because Nick Fury is like a dictator.
He
Honestly,
can
some
be
days.
as shady as a lot of politicians out there, that's for sure.
I'll say it's even more shady. Like,
Yeah.
he literally just says, "You know what? I'm gonna challenge God next time."
Yeah. He has a real ego trip going right now.
Look, this is dark to say. I'm kind of glad 616 Galactus shows up and needs half your planet, Nick Fury, because you're a dick. You need some humility.
Yeah. And then the next issue opens up with the X-Men returning to the mansion. Kitty's in the plane telling Elliot, oh, you did real good. Can you, like, show me some of your moves that you used in the danger room? And I'm like, whoa, 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 you got a boyfriend. And even Iceman's like, aren't you dating Spider-Man? Like, what's going on?
She gives me the horny eyes from the Lion King, or the Lying King.
Why do you call it the Lion King?
Because she's gonna lie down. Because when the eyes are shown, she's lying down.
Ew, ew,
Yeah.
okay. I don't want to get into this. This is a beloved children's movie.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, then Storm's like, what's wrong to Cyclops? And Cyclops is like, nothing. just thinking about Jean, which is so funny because I'm like, that panel alone, I'm like, typical Cyclops. Like, just thinking about Jean.
He's a horn dog. He's a simp.
His whole character is Jean. No, don't at me,
Jean.
Cyclops fans. I don't actually. That's mainly a joke.
Yeah. Did you hear they announced Jean Cyclops? Oh, we know about Jean already. And what's her face? Emma Frost.
Yeah, they
Like,
already announced like most of the X-Men cast at D23.
well, I'm
They
just saying,
cast
like,
Rogue, Professor X, Mr.
yeah.
Sinister, Storm.
I do not know about Storm and Miss Professor X, but I will say this: everyone's making memes about like the Cyclops storyline in X Men is just gonna be funny. Everyone's excited for it because it's just like Sadie Sink and Samara Weaver, and Cyclops is just gonna be forced to choose, and everyone's
Yeah,
kind of jealous of him.
yeah, we'll see what happens. But then Xavier contacts the X-Men, and Cyclops is like, yeah, he wants to know when we'll be back at the mansion, which is weird because he doesn't usually check on that. And Xavier is like talking to Nick Fury, trying to figure out like a battle plan for what to do when they get there. And Xavier even admits like, yeah, I should have known something was wrong because in hindsight, I did admit him to the school and put him on active duty on the X-Men way too quickly.
Yeah,
That's not like me. And they determine like, yeah, if Fury would record if he did these things even if he didn't remember it, then this was just an illusion Elliot created of Fury to bring him to the mansion.
they also are kind of predicting like he may have just done this by accident. He may have just wanted this, and this is happening by accident. So there's a chance it's not actually malicious.
Yeah, and Xavier hopes that he's not, and so does Fury. They're like, wait, let's hope he's got the best of intentions, but we should confront him as soon as he gets back.
Fury also has foolproof Fury logic about like why he did not bring him, and that is, look, if I found this kid, I would have kept him for the Ultimates.
Yeah. Like, why would I bring him to you? I'd keep him for myself. And I'm like, that tracks. That tracks with Ultimate Nick Fury.
That is the most honest answer there is for
Yeah,
Ultimate Nick
yeah.
Fury.
He's like, no, all these super powered humans and mutants, I'm keeping them for myself. I'm testing them. I'm experimenting on them. They're my super soldiers. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
But then we cut to Jean in her cell in the infirmary, like experimenting with her power. And she creates like a mini phoenix in her hand, which is a pretty cool visual. And then later we cut to the team, the X-Men arriving at the mansion. And Xavier and Fury immediately confront Elliot. And they're like, all right, they present all the facts to him, like, your parents are alive. Fury never brought you here. What is going on? Who are you? What have you been doing? And he's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And then Wolverine's like, huh, that's so weird. Even I couldn't like sniff anything wrong with him. Like, that shows how deep this illusion goes.
And then Scott just shoots him. He just starts blasting.
Yeah, Cyclops gets pissed the fuck off. And he just blasts him. I wrote he blasts his ass because he literally blasts him in the back and like shoots him and hits him into the wall. And he's like yelling at him. He's like, I should have known. Why would I let you on the team so easily? I trust you so much more than any other team member. And I've been lying awake at night, not sleeping because I've been wondering why. And I'm like, that's typical Scott Summers, overthinking king, like just so intense. I'm like, I know this is serious, but maybe take it down a couple notches.
He's a dick.
He's going full on drama mode here. And I'm like, this also shows why you're the team leader, because you just go for it and you're really tactically minded and thinking about everything all the time. That's also your biggest weakness and your greatest strength. Like, you gotta maybe tone it down a little.
If Scott was in the Thunderbolts movie, we'd all be dead.
Yeah.
Just say.
Why is that?
He just would have blasted Sentry, woken Sentry up, the evil Sentry.
Yeah, get them all killed.
Yeah,
The Void
exactly.
would kill them.
Yeah, I don't like Cyclops. It's not. I wouldn't want to work with him if he was like my boss or my
I like
coworker.
Cyclops as a character. I'm sure he's not someone I would want to work with in real life, but
There's a lot of people in fiction in like real life that I think are really admirable, and you kind of like reading about them, but you don't actually want to like know them. And Cyclops
yeah,
is one of those guys.
yeah, Cyclops. I feel like Wolverine's my favorite X-Men, but if I had to be on a team with him in real life, that would be rough.
I also think like I don't want to be in the same room with Wolverine because he smells.
Yeah, he probably reeks, smells nasty.
I also don't think I would like entertain Wolverine. I don't think he'd be interested in talking to me. I think I could talk with like Peter Parker.
Yeah, if I was on the team of mainline Nightcrawler, not Ultimate Nightcrawler, but just regular classic Nightcrawler, I think we'd get along.
Oh yeah,
Colossus, I'd hang out with those guys.
I hang out with Magic.
Yeah, Kitty, Jubilee. get along just fine.
I think hanging out with Kitty, Jubilee sometimes is rude.
I mean, she's got attitude, sure, but like she's fun.
Yeah. I even think I could get along with Jean Grey. I just don't think I'd like
Yeah, we
want
could
to.
get along, but I'd be like, there's nothing there personality wise for me to latch onto.
It's just like coworker slash English teacher vibe, not like I want to be friends with her and go out with like drinks for her after work kind of vibe.
Yeah, I
Um,
would so party with Rogan Gambit though.
really? You think
Oh
you get
yeah.
along with them?
Oh, I would third wheel them. We would
Wow.
like have a good time. We'd go out. They'd be like my surrogate parents. It would be amazing.
They're like 10 years older than you at this point.
In the symbolic sense,
Uh huh.
not in literal sense.
I think I could really get along with Magneto.
Okay, wow. You guys could talk politics. You
Yeah.
guys could talk about how beds are for the weak and you gotta live life as a hard man.
Yeah, actually, yeah, I think we would. I think he'd agree with me.
Yeah, I'm sure he would agree with all of your crazy takes.
Maybe he would. Maybe if this was like real, like 616, I would go like, "Hey guys, my new friend Magneto, we're gonna build a new city."
And God help us all, Josh King and Magneto, together for the first and last time for all of humanity. But
Oh, it's gonna be fun for like the first like 18 hours. Let's be honest.
and then we all die. Back to the story. Xavier's telepathically communicating with the X-Men. He's like, keep Elliot off balance, but don't hurt him so I can like telepathically shut him down.
Yeah.
And then Rogue's throwing explosive playing cards with her powers, Iceman shooting his eyes, Storms with lightning, Cyclops optic blast. In all the commotion, Xavier gets hit by a stray beam, and so his way's out, and Wolverine is immediately like, we're gonna do things my way. And I'm like,
Way.
Logan, chill, don't kill this kid. Stop it.
Oh, okay, well, let's be very fair. This Wolverine absolutely does kill children, so.
Yeah, he would murder the fuck out of this kid. And oh my gosh, like just relax. Like I told Cyclops to relax, but you really need to relax. And Elliot's like, guys, why are you doing this? I'd never hurt you. And then we cut to the hospital again, where the nurse checks up on Dazzler, and she's missing.
Yeah.
And I wonder
Kidnapped by
what happened.
Nightcrawler. We all know. Because he's always a monster. It's a
Yeah.
monster that he always feared he was, because he looks like one. Because he is one.
This is going to be bad, guys. This is going to be bad. Brace yourselves for Ultimate X-Men Annual number 2. It's coming soon.
Just
We're
saying, I was
getting
right.
to this later in the episode. Oh man, well, look what they did to my boy.
Yeah. It seems more of Elliot's. I always thought like Elliot had like weird reality bending powers. And it seems it is that way because it seems like he doesn't control, which is what everyone kind of thinks. Like the way the situation is manipulating is going in a certain way where like he throws Rogue at Kitty, Kitty
Yeah,
phases through it, and then she can't phase anymore.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll get into how Elliot's powers work later because that does get explained. But during the fight, Scott is almost mentally manipulated again by Elliot, incidentally. And he like blasts Logan and he's like, what are you doing? And they're like, Scott, like snap out of it. He's controlling you subconsciously. And then, yeah, Kitty's phasing power gets turned off and a flying boulder hits her. And then Colossus and Wolverine are like, oh, hell no, and go in for the kill with this guy. Elliot, funnily enough, I saw he almost rips the adamantium from Logan's bones, much like Magneto did to Wolverine in the '90s, famously.
Yeah.
So I think that was a pretty nice touch.
Yeah.
But they managed to take Elliot down. Kitty's also fine, and I think that's probably just because Elliot's magic powers as the magician, so it probably wasn't real. She was even like, I don't know how that didn't feel like it was supposed to. Like it didn't hurt as badly as I thought it was going to.
Elliot goes on like the traditional comic rant where he goes, I just want to be one of you. I can't, so I gotta kill you all.
Yeah, everyone unites to take him down, but then he just encases them all in metal. He like manipulates metal, much like Magneto,
Yeah.
and starts losing his mind. And he's like, I just wanted to be an X-Man. I'm like, me too, man.
I don't want to be an X-Men.
I mean, I wouldn't realistically, because man, the trauma I'd have to unpack, years of therapy after that.
I would rather be an Avenger. That one seems like an actual job.
I'd like to be part of the Fantastic Four. Or I guess since it's limited in number, I guess I'd be part of the Future Foundation.
Oh yeah.
I'm not a scientist like that though, so they wouldn't let me in. Maybe I just want to be along for the ride.
Maybe you could be like the PR guy.
Yeah. I want to be the PR guy for the Future Foundation and the Fantastic Four. That sounds like a fantastic job.
Or they're like they need a publishing guy. Every organization needs one publishing guy.
Yeah, so if anyone can hear me in the fictional universe of Earth 616,
Or one of
I'm
the other Earths.
available.
on
Yeah,
the other
or any
Earths.
other Earth. I don't know, the MCU version of the Fantastic Four that I guess
Yeah,
isn't really the MCU.
yeah.
That other universe. I'm available.
Uh,
Pedro Pascal, Reed Richards. I'm your
I
guy.
don't think I get along with Reed. I don't think he'd be a dick to me. I just don't think I don't think me and Reed Richards would get along. I don't think we have much in common to talk about, really.
Oh,
And
I'd love talking to Reed. He would be like my nerdy uncle or something.
yeah, I feel like I wouldn't be able to keep up. Like I have a few things I know a lot about, but like I feel like if I talk to Reed, I'm gonna be like, actually, I don't know as much about these as I thought I did.
Yeah, if I talked to Reed Richards, I would zone out very quickly. I'd be like, okay, uh huh, yeah, totally, I'm keeping up.
Yeah. No, I think I get along with Spider Man, but that's just because all three of us are just dorks, you know.
Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't get along with Spider Man? He's just an endearing, relatable guy.
Yeah. I think depending on the writer, I could get along with Daredevil.
I feel like I would be too much like Foggy Nelson in the sense that, like, every time Matt Murdock does something, I'd be like, why are you making that decision? You're a fucking idiot. Like, why are you doing this to yourself? You're
Yeah.
ruining your life.
I told you and Cameron this because I'm in Hell's Kitchen all the time. I was like, it's really nice out here. He's doing a good job.
Yeah. Keep it up, Matt.
Yeah.
But yeah, the issue 73, getting back to the story, ends with Elliot's got the X-Men right where he wants them, but then the last page is Jean showing up full Phoenix mode to stop him. So I'm hyped.
Next page in 74, he just goes like, what are you going to do? Crazy me to death?
And then, anyway, Jean just starts blasting. There's like a
Yeah.
double page spread of her as Phoenix just roasting the shit out of him with her powers.
Yeah.
And so there's an interesting comment, though, that I found during this fight between Elliot and Jean. Elliot's saying, oh, you still protect them after they cage you and fear you? And I'm like, that's so funny because it's like, wow, Jean here is like a mutant amongst mutants. They protect a world that hates and fears them, and she is like feared and caged by the people
Well,
that are her family. So I thought that was an
because she's a
interesting
threat.
commentary. I mean, in some ways, yeah, but like she's also like their friend and part of their surrogate family, and they're
She's
trying to
like
help her.
Galactus stuck in a 19-year-old's body. You got to be careful with that.
Yeah, it's all about how she uses that power. And right
Yeah.
now she's using it for good. And then Elliot mentally manifests the Brotherhood of Mutants, and then the X-Men are like, wait a minute, so back in Chicago at the Emma Frost school, when the Brotherhood attacked the school dance and he stopped it, he must have done that. He must have conjured up the Brotherhood mentally,
Yeah.
which is like,
And yeah, which is what I predicted. And Bob just sits on Genie and he goes like, I bet you enjoy that.
yeah, that's a gross panel of just the
Yeah.
blob sitting on Jean and
Kind of reminds
saying
me
that.
of X-Men Evolution where like Blob does have a crush on Jean, but
Yeah, Blob is in X-Men Evolution. He's such an incel. Yeah, he's like,
yeah.
stop laughing at me. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my god, classic incel behavior.
Yeah.
Going after the girl who's nice to you and then getting mad when she rejects you.
Yeah.
But then Jean is asking for help from Wolverine because she knows his healing factor will be able to take it. And he's like, you know how I go. I'm down for anything. And she just like burns him free from his constraints. And I'm like, if it involves Jean, he's like, all right, let me at him.
Isn't this what happens in the 90s and the 2000s movies where it's only Wolverine that could fight Jean because he just regenerates over and over again?
Yeah, that's right. And in this
Yeah.
case, he's the only one who can help Jean.
Yeah, and he also goes, I'll do anything for you, Jean. And I'm like, hey, man, she already rejected you.
Yeah. Also,
And she's
like,
19.
yeah, you've done enough. You've done more than
Yeah.
enough, Logan. I read the Mark Millar run.
Go bang the more consenting 19-year-old you rejected.
Yeah, like Storm would be better.
Yeah, but also, it's still kind of weird, but in
Yeah, it's
grand
still weird,
context, yeah.
but it's not as bad, I guess,
Yeah.
in context. But Wolverine and Jean fight the Brotherhood, quote unquote, because they're all just created by Elliot as an illusion. And Jean's like, we should target Elliot. He's creating this.
Yeah. If he loses concentration, they go away.
Yeah, exactly. And then
Yeah.
it's really over when Elliot hurts Jean and Logan loses his shit and runs at him and just slits his throat.
But it doesn't work.
Well, it does kind of work because Elliot's still going for it like a champ. He's still trying to fight, and he conjures up some swords. But Logan easily disarms him with his claws and then just runs through him with his claws. He just stabs the hell out of him. So this Wolverine would, and seemingly does, kill a kid.
Yeah.
But then Elliot vanishes in a flash of red, leaving them all confused because he's disappeared.
Yeah.
But Logan's like, he's dead. At least
We don't have to clean up.
Yep, we don't have to clean up after him. And I'm like, bro, read the room.
Yeah,
This was their
Logan's like
teammate.
the worst part about war and children is that you gotta clean up their dead bodies.
Yeah, I'm like, you don't have to take care of the body. Wolverine's like, I'm okay with that.
You know, I'm kind of glad the Hulk tried to eat you, Logan. You're a dick.
Yeah,
I wish he
like,
did.
yeah, like, yeah. Oh my gosh, why did the Hulk not take care of you back in that miniseries?
Yeah, and you know, there's this long thing about like people are like wondering, is this even real? It's like one of those weird things where you go like, even in a world of powers, this is like one of the more bizarre things to happen, where super hot guy shows up, he's perfect, then you find out he's manipulating you through possibly reality bending. You kill him and then he disappears. It's one of the weirder things.
Yeah, it's so bizarre and surreal. I can only imagine what that would be like having experienced that. But it's so crazy, and like this whole storyline, because it's like this is a guy who just got to live his best life as an X-Man and make his own like real life fan fiction. He could make
Yeah.
his fan fiction a reality. He could insert himself into the X-Men and be the coolest member, and everyone loves him. And Kitty's hitting on him and everything, and like it's crazy. It's like a lot of Marvel Comics writers' fantasies, honestly.
Yeah, I want to see read a story like that where like there's not a he's not a bad guy. He just has the power of I want to be a mutant or a hero, and that's my power. What do you do then? Like,
Yeah,
so I guess if you're the team, you go like I want to be winning.
yeah. And that's what Nick Fury almost did. He almost took him.
Yeah, it's like the passive ability. It's like you keep him on your team. Everyone like it's like Pokemon. You keep this useless guy on your team, and everyone's like bonus points just go up, stats go up.
Yeah. Yeah, he was a serious stat booster for the team.
Yeah.
But Professor X can't even sense Elliot anymore. He's like, it's as if he never existed.
Yeah.
And Xavier's like, we learned our lesson. We got to be more vigilant in who we recruit and also just monitoring mutants in general across the world, especially super dangerous ones like this. And we got to be prepared to do what must be done. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. You're like, we got to be like Wolverine and kill them all.
Well, he reminds me of a great hero, Scar from Lion King.
Oh my God.
Yeah, be prepared.
Oh boy, we got to do a whole Lion King episode because first you're calling
Hell
it the
yeah.
Lion King, and now you're talking about how Scar is a hero. What is wrong
He
with
is a
you?
hero. He is objectively the most progressive in Disney. Think about it.
How?
He gives equal rights to the hyenas and to the lions.
I don't think that's what that's about. I think he just was hungry for power and killed his brother.
He is the most progressive leader. His election pledges: vote for me, and you shall have food.
He didn't even have people vote. He just murdered his brother.
You know, sometimes in a monarchy, you got to use rough measures. You know.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, remind me to just a word to the wise of anyone out there. If Joshua J. Kang runs for office anywhere, do everything in your power to stop him. To all those listening.
uh, he's a progressive leader. Yeah,
Yeah.
and Fury also goes like, we got to look for his body, so we have something to give to his parents. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Fury, there's like Wolverine gross, and there's like Fury gross. Like Wolverine's objectively grosser, but Fury's just more clinical in a way that's just uncomfortable. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
We got to find something to bury.
yeah,
Even if we just find an arm or a leg or an eyeball.
yeah. Wolverine's like the guy that'll like see a dead body and like go like look through the pockets to find the wallet,
Yeah.
and condoms, and food. And
Yeah.
Fury's the kind of guy who goes like, oh man, I hope I know where his family is so I could charge them money for the will reading or something.
Yeah. There's always an agenda with this guy.
Yeah. It's almost respectable. Almost.
Almost. You got to respect the game, respect
Yeah.
the hustle.
Yeah.
And then we see Kitty hanging out in the garden at the Institute. And then Elliot appears out of nowhere. And he's like, just for the record, I never would have hurt any of you.
Yeah. He reveals what we've been kind of guessing where it's like he just has passive reality bending, is what he
Yeah.
realized. Yeah.
He goes to Exposition City with this, explaining his powers very specifically, just saying, yeah, I just subconsciously made it happen. I wanted something, and my powers just made it happen without me even consciously trying. I wasn't even trying to make this happen, but I wanted to be an X-Man. I got it. I wanted to be famous. I got it. I wanted people to like me. They liked me. I thought you were cute, so you started hitting on me. Like, all this happened.
Yeah.
And he got to live his dream, but he's like, yeah, now I'm just going to disappear, move somewhere like Antarctica because I'm too dangerous to be out around anyone. And he's like, I want to disappear, so that's what's going to happen. I'm just going to disappear.
He also said like he realized that recently it's reality bending is what he's realizing too.
Yeah.
And that he does it and he goes like, The problem is, I know Professor X wanted to know what my powers, and I realized what my powers. If he realizes it, he's gonna try to help me, and that's just gonna be a waste of time. And I'm like, I don't know, like maybe not. Yeah,
But you know what happens is he's like, all right, no one can ever know about me, and I know you can't remember this because you tell the professor, so Kitty doesn't even remember this. And
yeah.
Cyclops is like, hey, they couldn't find Elliot, and she's like, oh man, that sucks.
Logan is in his room during this time, looking at a ring that says "To my beloved." He smells it, and Sabretooth's nearby.
Yeah, I don't think there's a connection between those two. You're making it sound like the way you juxtapose it that Sabretooth is like his wife or something.
Maybe like she was a woman, and with a mutant thing, she just became Sabretooth.
All right, well, I don't know about this, but yeah, Wolverine and Sabretooth are not married.
Uh huh. They might be related.
Maybe. We don't know yet if we do find out the connection, but yeah, Sabretooth is hiding behind the trees. He looks kind of scared, but yeah, that's probably going to be a plot that's picked up in future issues. Sabretooth's just hanging around, lurking. And then Colossus runs into Nightcrawler, who is once again hostile towards him because Colossus is gay and
Yeah,
Nightcrawler is homophobic in
homophobic.
this. And he's like saying nasty stuff, and Peter has had enough and is like, I'm done with this shit. And then Kurt tries to attack him, but Colossus armors up and Kurt like bamps away. And Colossus is like, where's Professor X? Because something bad is going on. Something is wrong with Kurt. But Iceman says, oh, he's on a date. And this is kind of a
Ew.
weird ending for the, because like throughout these issues, Lilandra has not really shown up at all. So this is kind of a strange last page or two where Xavier's just on a date with Lilandra and they're like flirting hard,
Yeah.
and I'm not a fan of either of these guys.
Well,
So
okay.
like,
Xavier's not flirting. He's mostly just complimenting himself.
yeah, he is just like gassing himself up because she's flirting with him. She's like, wow, like reading minds can't be so hard. And then he's like, yeah, try it. And she's like, you think my beliefs are crazy. And he's like, no, I actually admire your beliefs in the Phoenix and everything. That's not very far fetched because I live with a kid who can shoot optic blasts. With everything we've experienced as the X-Men, I can at least entertain the thought. He's like, yeah, I've even been reading the books you gave me. And she's like, I'm impressed. And he's like, oh, I'm an impressive man. I'm like, shut the fuck up,
Imagine
Xavier.
saying that at a date. That's so.
Yeah, you're so egotistical and full of
That
yourself.
thing's. I feel like sometimes girls say like, "I am pretty cute," and I'm like, "Hey, don't drink
Like,
your own
take it
juice."
easy.
Yeah, don't
Yeah.
drink your own juice.
Yeah. You're drinking your own Kool-Aid, man.
Yeah. And then he was like, read my mind. He was like, you're trying to seduce me. And she goes, maybe just a little. And I was like, ew.
Yeah, barf. You can do
Yeah.
so much better than this guy.
Teachers should not have sex.
Okay, well, see, you get to the point where like I agree with you for a while, and then you just throw out the wildest take, and I'm like, wait.
Look,
I'm not gonna jump on that bandwagon.
sometimes to fix a problem, you must overcorrect.
That's spoken like every true dictator ever.
Look, let's just say you have a problem. Why solve the problem? Why not solve the next problem violently, too?
Jeez, you're digging a hole for yourself, sir.
Uh huh.
But now we're going into Ultimate X-Men Annual number 2. The
Yep.
first few issues were drawn by Tom Rainey, who was the series artist. This issue is drawn by Salvador Larroca and doing pretty well in this, honestly. I think the art is gorgeous in this issue, and that's probably the best thing I can say about Ultimate X-Men Annual number 2, because I even write in the script, might need a drink for this one, because this is rough. Pop an edible, take a drink, do whatever you have to do, because this is a rough one.
I want to say it's crazy, though. It's just like out of character.
It's rough, especially if you like Nightcrawler
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
And most people love Nightcrawler, so this is a tough one to sit through
Yeah.
because it is just a character study on just how awful Ultimate Nightcrawler is.
Yeah, he's a monster. He's a monster both on the inside and the outside.
Yeah, there's no redeeming qualities about him. The whole thing with mainline Nightcrawler is like he looks like a demon, but he's actually like an angel. Like,
Yeah.
not literally, but he's such a good person.
Yeah. Like, because he was elected Pope.
Okay, let's not talk about the Pope stuff again.
Come on, it's awesome.
Oh my god. Well, he's very religious. He uses his beliefs to comfort himself and help others. He's swashbuckling, he's fun, he's goofy, he's silly, he's very loving and caring. He's the heart of the X-Men in most versions. Ultimate Nightcrawler sucks.
He's a monster on the outside, And the whole point is that he is a monster on the outside, so you can see that he's the opposite on the inside.
Yeah, if you look past that, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
It's part of the mutant metaphor. You look past that on what's in the outside and you see the person, not like just on the surface level. You don't judge a book by its cover. He's an amazing person.
Yeah. It's literally supposed to be like he's a devil who's the epitome of a good Catholic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But here he's just absolutely awful inside and out.
Yeah.
The issue begins with a flashback to months ago when Nightcrawler was part of the Weapon X program, and he was sent on this mission to assassinate this world leader. And this action scene in the first few pages is pretty interesting. It's pretty cool because it seems very inspired by the opening of X2, X Men United, where Nightcrawler is attacking the White House and sent to assassinate the president, also by Weapon X. So I'm like, oh wow, okay, I see the inspiration there. But you see
Oh,
like just how Weapon X used him and like sent him on these really violent, like dangerous missions.
or one of the scenes in X Men First Class where the red version of Nightcrawler,
Azazel.
Exazel, teleports in and drops people from the sky.
Yeah, that's true. And oh boy, Azazel. That's
And
a
I'm
whole
glad
another episode.
he is no longer Nightcrawler's father, and Nightcrawler's father was this whole time Mystique,
Exactly. As Claremont intended.
as Claremont intended.
But yeah, then after that flashback, we cut to Rogue in the X Mansion talking to Professor X just about her concerns, about her new powers, having absorbed Gambit's memory and consciousness, and now she can't even hear his voice anymore, but she doesn't know when these powers will go away. And she doesn't have her original powers, which were like, can absorb the powers of anyone she touches.
Yeah. It's not like Captain Marvel, because Professor X just goes, "These aren't permanent, my dear, but we
Yeah,
don't know when they shall fade."
yeah, he's like, we don't know when they're gonna go or how long they'll last. But also, yeah, it's not like Captain Marvel because when Rogue absorbs Carol Danvers' powers and memories in 616, one, they didn't go away for a long time. Two, even when she had them, she could still use her normal powers to like absorb people's powers and memories when she touched them. So this is pretty different.
Also, kind of like the art of Rogue looking like Gambit. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. But
Yeah.
it's not gonna last, unfortunately. Foreshadowing.
Dazzler wakes up and goes like, "What's going on? What's up? How long have I been out?" And Nightcrawler goes, "We're under attack. We don't know who's alive or dead. I gotta get you out of here." So
And he teleports her away. And that's exactly how it happened. And he takes her to a cave and he's like, yeah, I often come here to think. And I'm like, okay, weirdo,
it's his goon cave.
creep. And Dazzler's like, all right, so what's going on with this attack? Do we know if anyone's still out there? Who's attacking? And Nightcrawler literally has no explanation. He's panicking and he's like, I don't know. I don't know.
We don't even know if it's alive.
What was the plan here, bro?
Yeah. He just brought her to his goon cave.
Yeah, you
And
freak.
he goes, "I don't know if the professor's alive or not. Let me go back up for supplies." And poof.
Yeah, and so he goes and he's like, we gotta wait till the professor contacts us before we can leave. Meanwhile, back at the mansion, Xavier is debriefing Wolverine about killing Elliot, seemingly, and Logan's fine with it. He's like, listen, I'm not proud of this, but I don't regret it.
Yeah.
Like, I did what had to be done. And Xavier's like, listen, I know you came here as a horrible person. You were sent here to
Oh,
kill me. I just want to believe that you've changed. So can you at least give it a second thought? At least tell me you gave it a second thought. And Logan's like, okay, I did. Can I go now? He's like, got no remorse.
he kind of reminds me of like the big guy in Umbrella Academy. If you've seen that show, read the books.
No, I haven't.
Okay, but there's a big guy, and there's a scene where the character goes like, "Look, are you a good person, or do you just have like a need to like please authority? You just need to find enough like a father figure to just do." And that kind of reminds me of Wolverine. It's first Magneto, now it's
Yep.
Professor X. And it's like, you're not a good person. I don't think you've become that much better of a person. Maybe you just need to please like your dad figure really
Or
hard.
like, just like point me somewhere and tell me who to kill, and I'll do it. And
Yeah.
that's it for Ultimate Wolverine. He's like, that's
It's,
all I care about.
it's like that character in Rick and Morty. I don't care, man. I just love killing.
Yeah. Oh boy, here I go killing again. And then Xavier later, after Wolverine leaves, is called by the hospital who tell them about Allison's disappearance. Dazzler's gone, and he goes full Karen and he's like, hey, you were promised specific protections. She's a mutant. I'm gonna sue you guys. I'm like,
You'll hear
yeah.
from my lawyer.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, go Karen Xavier. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, no one should go Karen.
No, but like, It's funny, and it's very fitting of Xavier and his personality.
Yeah.
And then we cut to Allison and Kurt eating McDonald's in the cave.
It's not an apocalypse if there's McDonald's.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna make this a cheap date. Here.
Well, McDonald's is expensive now, so
Yeah, back then it wasn't.
it wasn't. Hey man, cheap dates are the best dates. You
Yeah, I
save
know.
money, and if you get broken up, you're like, at least I saved some money.
You told me this all the time in college, and I'm glad you still hold this belief years
Yeah.
later.
Look, the few times I went expensive, the relationship went sour. So stay cheap, my friends.
Stay cheap, my friends. Wise words from Josh Kang.
I know. I remember my expensive dates. Never getting those memories back or money
Or
back.
that money, yeah.
That money, nope.
Yeah, in the cave, Nightcrawler's explaining, like, oh, I was worried about you, Dazzler. I wanted to make sure you were safe. And she,
Yeah.
like, touches his hand, and she's like, that's sweet. And he, like, freaks out because he's like, oh, the girl I liked, she touched my hand. And she's immediately like, all right, but don't freak out about that because I'm still with Warren.
If he's alive.
If he's alive.
And I can see Nightcrawler go like, oh, I have a chance? I just gotta kill Angel.
Yeah, just be like, oh, he's dead. Yeah. Like, now that you mention it, yeah, he didn't make it. Sorry. Yeah, I'm looking pretty good right about now, huh?
Yeah.
And so he's like, okay, and awkwardly leaves, saying he's gonna get more supplies. When he leaves afterwards, she calls him a weirdo too, so I'm like, bro, you have no chance. You're so cooked.
Yeah. He's a simp and an insult.
Yeah, he's a major incel.
Yeah.
And then at the mansion, Xavier gets all the X-Men together and tells the situation that Dazzler's missing. They don't know where she is or if she's still in her coma. And Nightcrawler arrives like immediately afterwards. And then he's like, what's going on? And they're like, Dazzler's missing. He's like, oh my god, is she okay? And they're like, we don't know. She's missing. Like, he's really playing it up. And they're like, bro, what's wrong with you? And he's like, I'll go teleport around and search for her. And Logan's like, okay, let me come with you. And he's like, no, I'll do it myself. Yeah, it's like, oh, you'll slow me down. I'll do it myself.
And the instant his guy goes like, yeah, I smell Dazzler on him.
Yeah, Wolverine goes to Professor X and he's like, yeah, he reeks of Dazzler. I think something's wrong here. I think he might have taken her. And Xavier's like, okay, well, find him, stop him, but don't use deadly force. And Wolverine's like, I know, he's one of us. And Nightcrawler goes back to the cave, and immediately Kitty arrives and phases Allison out of that cave. And she's like, nope. And outside, the X-Men are there to confront Nightcrawler when he shows up. And Cyclops is like, he's approaching him as a friend. He's like, listen, Weapon X did some fucked up stuff to you.
Not that fucked up. Fucked up in a different way. This is different.
Yeah, this is pretty different levels of fucked up. But he's like, listen, they're trying to be sympathetic here. They're like, listen, I know you've got some trauma you haven't dealt with. I know that might have messed you up. We're just trying to rationalize why you're like this incel creep. But like, listen, you need help. Let us help you. And Kurt just goes on this full incel speech, and he's like, can't I have somebody too? And I'm like,
no,
oh
you're a
my
disgusting
God.
monster. You don't
Like,
get anyone.
maybe just try being a better person and going after people who might be a little more interested in you and not kidnapping people after they come out of a coma.
Well, I think it's more that he's a disgusting monster, both on the inside and the outside. So,
If he was more like mainline Nightcrawler's got mad game.
Okay, yeah, but I'm not happy about that. He's supposed to be a priest.
Nightcrawler is like, call him the Rizzler. Why don't you? Because
No.
Nightcrawler, Kurt Wagner,
he's supposed to be father.
Insanely. Oh my gosh. I mean, that whole Pope storyline, it was a hoax.
Okay, but canonically he is an ordained priest.
Yeah, but he
should be called father, not daddy.
That's not what the ladies say.
Maybe they do.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe
I don't want to talk about it, man. I don't want to delve too deep into that.
Yeah.
But Wolverine of all people, tries to connect with Nightcrawler.
Okay, because Wolverine's also like a creep. He's a pedophile.
Well, Wolverine was also part of the Weapon X program, so he's like, I get it. They did terrible stuff to us. He like tries to connect with him, which is rare because most of the time Logan's just gonna go in and stab you.
Well, like, look, Wolverine has a soft spot for sex criminals because he also is one.
Yeah, he's like, listen, I've gone after girls that weren't interested in me before. I've done fucked up stuff. I left Cyclops to die in the Savage Land so I could have a chance with Jean. We've all done things that we're not proud of, all right? Let's just blame it on Weapon X.
I mean, it kind of sounds like that's what they're trying to do. They're like, let's just blame it on Weapon X and just move on. Just say you're
Yeah.
traumatized.
And then Kurt does not accept his help and literally punches Wolverine in the face. And then even Colossus, who Kurt has been horrible to, is like, listen, we're your friends. And then Nightcrawler continues to be homophobic towards him, and Colossus is rightfully pissed off at him. So they just get to fighting.
Yeah, and Colossus like says like, well, I've been really nice to you. I've been patient, and Nightcrawler just teleports him to the Goon Cave.
Yeah, so he's like teleporting people away left and right. He teleports Wolverine far away. He teleports Cyclops into the sky and has him falling. He teleports, yeah, Colossus into the cave. He's a menace in this fight.
Oh yeah, and Colossus does that disgusting thing where he tries to shoot at the ground to keep himself like
Oh,
crashing at a.
Cyclops?
Yeah, he does the.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he shoots at the ground to cushion his fall.
I forgot you think that's gross.
Yeah, it's just gross. It's like Milkman.
I still don't fully get that reference, but I believe you. I still
Yeah,
think it's not. Yeah, I think it's cool.
yeah.
But then during the fight, funnily enough, Rogue's powers as Gambit stop working, and so when she charges the card, it doesn't retain its charge, and she's like, "What?" And then eventually they get the upper hand on Nightcrawler. Colossus busts out of the cave, knocks him over. Dazzler blinds him with her powers.
And Rogue takes his powers.
Yes. But before that, Nightcrawler again goes on this really creepy speech about, like, I did this for you, Dazzler, and I thought this would be something we'd laugh about, and we'd tell this story to our children. And it's such a creepy thing that everyone just kind of stares at him speechless because they're like, oh, I don't know what to say to that. But yeah, Rogue gets her original powers back, and when she touches Nightcrawler, she absorbs his teleportation power, knocks Kurt out, but she can't stop teleporting. And then, after this disaster of a fight ends, they just pick everyone up, and everyone just goes home.
Yeah. And Professor X goes, look, this is a little crazy. Let's not get Shield involved in this. Let's just say he
Yeah,
has a mental, which he probably does.
let's keep
And
it in the family, alright? He's one of
let,
us.
let's just do some psychic therapy.
Keep him in the infirmary. He's got a mental illness. Let's blame it on Weapon X, alright, guys? This is all Weapon X's fault. We can agree on that, right? And Dazzler's like pissed off. She's like,
Yeah.
"Are you kidding me? This guy should fry."
Okay. I don't think he deserves to die.
Well, I think she means fry as in like he should go to jail.
I mean, the thing is, it's hard to blame Weapon X on this. It's like, I get it if he has like trauma with violence or like authority because of Weapon X, but this is like, Weapon X didn't teach him about women or
No, yeah.
sex or romance.
That might be the problem. They didn't teach him any of that, and that's why he is the way he is.
True. It's like how like all those guys who end up in boarding school with only other men end up really weird or creepy.
Yeah, exactly.
Though also I think it's because like boarding schools we now know have like a high rape rate amongst the students. That
Yeah.
might be why too. But
Yep. Yep.
yeah,
So it's wrong. And Dazzler's like, listen, if he had kidnapped Jean or literally anyone but me, this guy would be going to prison, but you're going to take care of him because you guys don't give a fuck about me, especially you, Xavier.
well, I think if she kidnapped Jean would have killed
Yeah, that's true. She would have used her Phoenix powers to, like, annihilate him.
him.
But Dazzler storms off and quits, and she's like, listen, I just wanted to be a rock star anyways.
She said I just wanted to be a fucking rock star.
Yeah, they censor it, but she does say that. And then she just storms off, and I'm like, all right, you're so real for that.
Kind of reminds me of how she is like a singer in 616, and at one point they're like, "Aren't you curious about where your powers comes from?" And she was like, "Not really."
Yeah, she's like, no, I don't care. I just
Yeah.
wanted to be a musician.
Fun fact: 616 Dazzler still has a hammer of Dazzler Thor, which she never takes out, but it is canon. She still has it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, would have been real helpful a few times.
Yeah, maybe once or twice when the world was in danger.
Yeah, bring out Dazzler Thor.
And then at the end of this issue, Rogue visits Nightcrawler as he's in the infirmary and he's unconscious, and she gives him this whole speech about, listen, I know what it's like to be seen as a freak or as a monster just because you're a mutant. I absorbed your power, so I absorbed your memory too, and I've been in your head. And after seeing all that and seeing who you really are, you are a monster. And it's so funny. Oh my gosh, like, because you think she's gonna soften the blow, but nope, she's doubling down. She's like, no, you actually are a horrible person. You do suck.
With a few exceptions, these are just like the worst versions of the characters. That's why.
Yeah, I mean, there are exceptions for sure. Kitty's still great. I think Iceman's still great. I think Colossus is as great as he's ever been. But most of these guys are worse versions of themselves in
Yeah,
Ultimate.
I actually think Ultimate Colossus is slightly better than 616 Colossus in terms of personality.
Yeah, because they give him more to do. That's for sure.
But also, like 616 Colossus is a lot more violent. He's very much easier to tempt into anger.
Yeah, 616 Colossus has also been the victim of some historically bad writing, and that's conundrum of we don't know what to do with the nice strong guy, so let's make him do bad stuff like beat the shit out of Pete Wisdom because he's dating Kitty.
He's a horn dog.
I mean, who amongst the X-Men is not?
Magic.
Bro,
Uh no.
I think she and Kitty are definitely,
A thing does not mean horn doggy.
they're all horny. It's the X-Men.
No. I reject that.
I accept it, and Krakoa is for lovers.
No. It's not
Or it was.
Virginia.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
What's really funny is this issue also ends. There's like a 2-page backup story, a really quick one. This is drawn by Leniel Francis Yu, and this actually delves into exactly why and how Xavier's cat was named Mystique, as we saw from the beginning of this run during the Mark Millar era. So it's actually revealed that Mystique is like a jealous ex of Xavier's who, when she was seeing Xavier, caught him with Emma Frost cheating on her. And she's like, she's almost half your age. Do you have no shame? And so Emma helps Xavier fight off Mystique, but she's like, you two deserve each other. And then on the next page, Xavier gets a cat with Emma, and he's worried about the cat crawling over his desk. And then they find out the cat has destroyed so much of his furniture and knocked photos off his desk. And then Emma's like, let's just name the cat Mystique. And I'm like, damn, that's actually a hilarious story. I thought that was such a funny backup.
I wasn't entirely sure that this last part was canon.
Yeah? You thought it was just like a joke?
I wasn't sure what it was, honestly.
I thought it was just a funny explanation as to why Xavier's cat is named Mystique in Ultimate.
I forgot about that.
I thought at first it was like some history where Xavier faced Mystique in the past and then used his telepathy to make her think she was a cat and she morphs into a cat. But it's literally just because that's his ex who caught him cheating with Emma Frost. And then they named the cat Mystique after her. And I'm like, that's hilarious, but also Xavier, you're a scumbag.
You are a scumbag. You're a horn dog.
Yeah, so like, oof, that it's funny, but also like, wow, you suck. And I'm glad Emma will also realize that later and dump you.
Yeah. He already is a deadbeat dad at this point.
Yeah, so like, come on.
Yeah. So.
And Emma's also your student, so that's also gross.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Wasn't his deadbeat kid's mom also his student?
I'm not sure. She might have been, but either way, he sucked as a father and a husband anyways, and left them both for Magneto, so his one true love.
And which is why Magneto always hangs out with Mystique now.
Abandonment issues.
And he has a thing for Professor X, and if you can't get with the original guy, you go for like his ex, so your juices could meet somehow.
Oh God, don't say that.
Well, I said it.
Oh my gosh. Well, anyways, any final thoughts on these issues, Josh?
I actually like them. I don't think like anything crazy happened. Actually, I need to rephrase. Other than the Nightcrawler story, which is completely out of the bat, I don't think anything crazy happened. It's like I didn't like the way they resolved the. I'm glad I was right. I think it's a really interesting concept. Like, what do you do with a guy who just has a passive ability to make things happen his way? But like, I didn't really like the way they resolved it, where it's just exposition.
Yeah, it does feel very exposition dumping at the very end.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a fun, interesting concept and cool storyline, and I think it was bold that they created an original character for this.
Yeah.
So that was cool. But yeah, the last few pages, I'm like, oh my gosh, with the exposition, please don't just spoon feed us all the information.
Yeah, especially because like he realized this. I wish there was some clever way to beat him, or even with like just say, no, Jean turned full Phoenix, crushed him, which it's the only way he could really beat something.
Yeah,
like
and then Wolverine stabbed him, and that was it.
Okay. Yeah, I do like the final Professor X. Like, hey man, you're a little too happy to kill kids. Wolverine goes like, hell yeah, I am. It's like, at least give it a second. I was like, a little man, but kid's a kid.
He's like, I'd do it again if I had to.
Yeah.
Even if I didn't have to, hell. But yeah, I think the most memorable part was unfortunately the Nightcrawler issue because wow, they butchered him in Ultimate.
Yeah, it just wasn't necessary to the story as well. Like, why even make him this monstrous?
They had to be different. They're like, all right, so they zigged here in original X-Men comics. We're going to zag there. So Nightcrawler is like the heart of the X-Men and the epitome of goodness and just a fun guy and everybody loves him, especially the ladies. We're going to zag. So Ultimate Nightcrawler is an incel He's a creep. He was experimented on by Weapon X, which didn't happen in the main comics.
I mean, that's not the craziest one.
That one is surprisingly not the craziest one. The craziest one is when he just lurks over a comatose Dazzler obsessively and then kidnaps her once she wakes up and tries to keep her for himself, like some kind of freak.
I was gonna say, I actually think if they kept original Nightcrawler as close as it could and have it by experimental by Weapon X, it would have been an interesting thing where you bring out his like nice side, his Catholicism, and it's a big contrast. It's like a big Catholic thing where like, despite everything that's happened to you, you stick true to morality.
Yeah.
That is a really good message, and it's like such a contrast of like you treat these people like weapons, and the first chance he has, he shows kindness.
Yeah.
And they don't go that route, so
No,
yeah.
they don't. It felt like at first they did, even with surprisingly the Mark Millar run when he's introduced, it seemed like that's where they were going. But with this, they just take a totally different turn. And yeah, I wish, like you said, it could have been more about him embracing kindness and goodness despite everything that happened to him. Because that reminds me a lot of like what DC's doing right now with their absolute characters. Superman is still Superman despite the fact that he did not grow up on the Kent farm. Wonder Woman is still Wonder Woman despite the fact that she grew up in hell and was raised by Cersei and knew none of her Amazonian sisters. Batman's still Batman even though he's not like a rich playboy. You know, it's all these things where even though they're faced with these different circumstances, at their core, they're the same characters, right? And like you're saying, I wish they had kind of done that with Nightcrawler.
Yeah, I think another good idea with Nightcrawler is he has like this arch nemesis, maybe another Weapon X guy, or the guy who tortured him. He beats him, and at the moment of victory, he shows him forgiveness.
And then Wolverine stabs him.
Yeah, Wolverine stabs him, and Nightcrawler goes, "Ah, we just won! You surrendered!"
That would have been hilarious. Absolute cinema.
Yeah.
No notes.
Wolverine goes like, I just love killing, man.
Yeah. Hire us, Marvel. We will present you with all the complex moral dilemmas and character growth, and then we'll have Wolverine stab characters.
One thing I do like is in 616, you remember the story where Wolverine looks at a mirror where he has to look into the face of everyone he kills, and he just starts crying.
Yeah, that was from Ten of Swords.
Yeah. It shows something about Wolverine as well.
Yeah, because that's mainline Wolverine, that's my goat there. That's my favorite X-Man. Because, like,
Yeah.
Of course he shows remorse. You know how many horrible things he's done in his life? You think he doesn't feel remorse for him? Bro, he killed his own son. You think he doesn't feel horrible about that?
Well, his son came back.
Yeah, thank God. And he's much better now.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Krakoa gave him the chance to be with his family.
Yeah. I still love how he has to, like, another guy also looks at the mirror and he doesn't cry. Wolverine's just, like, bawling.
Yeah, well, he has, like, a tear stream down his face. He's not, like, full-on bawling, but yeah.
That's still, it's a big tear.
Yeah, it is. Because he feels remorse. This other guy's like a psychopath.
Yeah. That's what I like about Wolverine. He is, like, he's a little better than Punisher in that regard. I think, like, canonically, they do kind of get along.
I feel like Wolverine and Punisher, from what I've read in the comics, really don't get along too well.
They
Like,
get along a few times, I remember.
they'll team up, but I feel like they kind of really don't like each other.
I don't think Punisher will cry if he sees the people he killed. I think he'll cry if he sees his other mistakes, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
If he sees his dead family.
Sees his dead family or all the people, like, the time he wished the war went on longer and he has to look at all the dead soldiers that didn't have to die, that he basically may die because he wished the war went a little longer. I think he'd cry about that. I think if he killed someone by accident, he'd cry. Like, yeah. This Wolverine was like, no, I just love killing. It's a kid. I gotta learn to, like, not kill them on first sight.
That's the difference. Ultimate Wolverine is a total scumbag and a psychopath. So, like we said, Ultimate Marvel, original Ultimate Marvel, so many of these characters are just worse versions of themselves. But that about wraps it up for this episode. Next time, we're going to be getting back into Ultimate Spider-Man. So you've got Ultimate Spider-Man 95 to 96, and also Ultimate Spider-Man Annual number 2. And Josh, where can our listeners email us if they want to talk about the comics we read, comics in general, the podcast, or pretty much anything else?
It is ultimatecomics.podcast@gmail.com. Comics plural, podcast singular. ultimatecomics.podcast@gmail.com.
That is right. You can also reach out to us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. We have plenty of fun reels and TikToks with clips from the show. We also have images from the comics we read we post on Instagram. And we do full episodes of this podcast with video on YouTube. Until next time, everyone, take care and make mine Ultimate Marvel. Bye-bye.
Bye.